Welcome back to West Texas View.
We've been talking with Scott Davis, and just before the break we showed what the box looks like that is sent to each one of our troop members, and it holds a lot of things. I'm going to let him take these out one at a time. On the very top is a letter that says Merry Christmas. Tell us what that...
Well, you know, it's just a little kind letter from the organization thanking these men and women for what they do on our behalf, and it's a different letter every year, so it's
But you say that this is from a lot of people.
A lot of folks.
so
who really want to show their appreciation.
And then you always include
there's always a $2 bill.
Somebody said what a wonderful idea it would be to have a $2 bill.
Because it's for good luck. And whether or not they believe it doesn't, I mean, you may not believe it's for good luck, but if you think it is and you put it in your pocket, it's good luck.
Okay.
We had a young lieutenant come back who had his back broken and was standing in line in the PX, and he reached back into his wallet. His first sergeant was behind him, and he was getting some money to pay out, and that $2 bill popped up in his wallet, and the first sergeant said, "Oh, Lieutenant Speaks, look, I still got mine." So if
it's in your mind that as one person thinks,
if
so
one person comes home safely because that made him have good luck, that's all we need to know.
That's right. And then, wouldn't you, if you were way, way off and you thought maybe you were forgotten by your home folks, wouldn't that make you feel good to see this homemade, crocheted Christmas stocking and tell the story about the woman that thought up this idea?
Well, I was sitting in my office one day 3 years ago, and Cricket Lamont calls and said, "Mr. Davis," and I said, "It's not Mr., it's Scott." And she said, "I have crocheted," at that time, I think she had crocheted 360 miniature Christmas stockings. And she said, "I've got these made and I'd like to send them to the troops, but I can't find anybody over here that will do this." And she lives in the Gainesville area. And she said, "Well, would you guys send them?" And I said, "Well, of course, we'd love to. That'd be wonderful." Well, she got busy and started finishing up on what she could make that year. When she left Gainesville coming to Midland to hand deliver these, she had 1,000 of them crocheted. When she got here, she had 1,010 of them. She had them neatly packed in file boxes and brought them into the warehouse, and we were staying there visiting, and she had to drive back to Gainesville. She and her husband that evening. It was getting late, and I kept trying to get her to move along. Not because I wanted to get rid of her, because she had a long drive. And she was so invested in these stockings that she didn't want to get away from those boxes. Those were her babies, and she really had her heart in them. Well, the following year, she made 3,000 of them, all by herself.
3,000.
And we sent 2,640 of them, as I recall, to our troops in Afghanistan, and the balance she sent to the wounded men and women at Brooke Army Medical Center in San Antonio. So they were on their nightstand.
But you can actually put something in them. It's got
a little poem on the inside there that she also includes, and it's, I don't have my glasses on, but it's the night before Christmas, basically, slightly modified.
Oh, that's nice.
Really cute.
And then coffee cups. This is our
it's a wide bottom mug because they don't have cup holders in their Humvees.
And then they have all kinds of hygiene items, toothpaste, antibiotic lotion, aspirin.
No, not aspirin. Non-aspirin pain reliever, because aspirin is a blood thinner.
Oh, okay.
And you don't want them taking aspirin if they get wounded. So
See,
we've researched everything that goes into these boxes, Johnny Lou, and had it vetted by men and women who have been in Iraq and or Afghanistan. And so we're pretty comfortable with what's in here as being useful and necessary and helpful and fun.
And a lot of times you'll have companies like this one was donated by or given to you at a very low rate.
Family Dollar made some really good.
And then you've got some fun items like some candy.
There's candy.
And sometimes homemade cookies.
Well, in these boxes we were putting in packaged cookies, because when we have 2,500 boxes to pack, we don't have enough ladies to make 2,500 dozen cookies.
Right when you're and you've got chewing gum.
There's chewing gum. We try and put a toy in for the guys to give to the indigenous children, just for goodwill. There's foot powder. It's really cold in Afghanistan in the winter, so there's a nice knit cap, and they may not be able to wear them when they're on missions, but they can wear them to sleep in. And if you've ever been in a brutally cold area at night sleeping, a knit cap keeps you warm. There is jerky, and this is made locally. It's made up in White Deer, and it's absolutely wonderful jerky. There's a paperback book. There is in here always a pair of socks. There are hand warmers, chemical hand warmers to put in their pockets, because again, it's brutally cold in Afghanistan in the winter. And I had a Marine mom tell us that she had started sending these to her son, and he really, really liked them because they would keep his hands warm when they were on missions. So we put enough of these in here so they have about a week's worth of warm hands. Those are just a neat item. There's a good, somewhere in here, a really good pocket knife. Trail mix, instant cocoa, instant coffee, instant drink
lemonades,
mix to give them some variety.
And lots of hard candy.
Well, the hard candy we use as a filler because we don't want to send the plastic peanuts, and if the boxes aren't quite full enough, we fill them with candy. Typically they're so full we can't finish them up.
And?
Then the boar snake. And
I don't know what that
that's
is.
interesting because the expression in your face is what most ladies have when they see this boar snake. This is a cleaning device for their .223 caliber rifles.
Oh.
And the weighted end goes down through the barrel, and as they pull it through, there's a wire brush right there to clean all the debris out of their barrel, and then they can wipe the barrel clean this way. They can carry them in their pockets on a mission and not have to carry steel rods to clean the guns with, and they keep them functioning properly. Also in there is Remington donates a bottle of high quality gun oil to keep the guns clean.
And who makes these?
These are made by Bushnell.
Oh, so it's not a
It's
little
not
old lady
local, no.
in
This
the
is
back
a $19 item that they make available to us at a much reduced rate. We've had some very generous corporate sponsors who help us put high quality items in here.
And lots of first aid kits, deodorant, as I said, toothbrushes and toothpaste.
There's a DVD in there.
Oh, a DVD.
AA batteries. There's a Bible.
Great. And so this is something they can share with everybody.
Well, and that's what they do. You'll find
Oreo cookies.
Yeah, there'll be several packages of cookies in there.
Well, we're going to talk about this a little bit later. We've got to take a break right now, but we're going to come back and continue this conversation. Isn't this interesting? I am so excited about what we can do for our troops through this wonderful organization. We'll see you in just a minute.
Stay tuned. West Texas View will be right back.